Yesterday I took the Grom out for its first ride. It was the first time I've taken it out of the neighborhood, and unfortunately it's not exactly ready. The gearing on this bike has been altered. Instead of the stock setup, which is a 1534, this is actually running a 1445. This gearing has altered the top speed and the speedometer accuracy so bad that it's really not even usable on roads where the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. The top speed is 50 miles an hour. It actually hits the rev limiter at 49. Cruising at a GPS indicated 30 miles an hour, the speedometer on the Grom is reading 45, which also leads me to believe that the 5,000 miles that are on it is probably more likely closer to 3,000. I'll probably keep the 14-tooth front sprocket because I do like a little extra torque, but this 45-tooth rear sprocket has to go. I just took it a few miles up the road to the helmet center yesterday, and I'll insert a clip of that here so you can see what I'm talking about.
Alright, well, I got some oil ordered. They didn't have exactly what I needed. And I also ordered a sprocket for this thing because, man, is the gearing affecting my top end. That was it, guys. That was a top speed run, and you saw I hit the rev limiter at 49 miles an hour on the GPS.
Since I'm waiting for a sprocket on the Grom and a shipment of oil for all three, I'm going to go ahead and just wash the DRZs today. I think I'll take them around to the backyard because the weather is perfect. So this is Steph's 2007 DRZ 125L. This bike was also offered by Kawasaki under the name of the KLX 125L. This bike is stock with the exception of the Acervis handguards I installed a few years ago. It's really worth the money to go ahead and get something name brand that's going to last in the event of a tip over. This one went down pretty hard when Steph was learning, and everything was fine. It didn't bend, it didn't break, and the lever was protected underneath. This is my 2005 DRZ 125L. It's the exact same bike as Steph's 2007, but it actually has some upgrades that make it a lot more fun as an adult rider. The first thing you'll notice is the T4 Pro Circuit exhaust, the nice crisp sound to it. Something you might not notice right off the bat is the suspension upgrades. I actually have a BBR spring in the rear, as well as BBR springs in the front. So it rides a lot stiffer, much closer to a 250 type suspension setup instead of the 125 that's of course meant for kids. I would love to add some suspension upgrades to Steph's 2007 as well, because the softer suspension is really meant for lighter riders, and the stiffer suspension setup really gives you more confidence, especially in loose sand and gravel. On top of the suspension upgrades and the exhaust, this bike also has an upgraded cam. Both the bikes are extremely dirty. I haven't had them around in a while. We just bought them back from the guy we sold them to last summer. So I'm going to get them cleaned up, and that way we'll be ready when the oil comes so we can do our service and get out and ride. Well, that knocked off the first layer of dirt. Now that the bikes are clean, we're going to go ahead and clean and lube the chains and polish up the plastics. DRZs cleaned up, and I've done a little bit of rearranging here in the garage. I'm going to see if I can get the DRZs back where they used to go next to our trash cans so that the Grom can stay behind the 4Runner. Hope everything fits. Not a chance. Maybe I'm just gonna have to leave the trash cans behind the Forerunner. Well, this is what I've come up with. We're gonna do it this way for a while and see what we think. I can always change it back and put both trash cans behind the Forerunner if I like. Now that the bikes are put back away, there's nothing to do but wait for our oil and sprockets. We're going out of town next week, so I may not even get to ride before we leave, but hopefully the parts will come in before we have to take off.